In 2023, Magic the Gathering will be 30 years old, and in that time it's taken players to some amazing places as they roamed across the game's multiverse. There's one plane, however, that's been there right from the beginning, and it seems only fitting that Magic should return to it for the start of a new 4-set story, the Phyrexian arc, to celebrate its anniversary. Yes, it's time to return to Dominaria, and these are the things you should know about Dominaria United. If you're new to Magic, there's literally 30 years of backstory on this iconic plane. Dominaria is an absolutely massive place that's seen world-altering destruction that led to an ice age, apocalyptic calamity, and a full-scale invasion by the despicable biomechanical Phyrexians. More on them in a sec. Leading into this set, however, Dominaria is in a state of renewal after the Great Mending. The scars of the past are still evident, but they've largely been reclaimed by nature, and it's a time of hope. No, that doesn't mean we're going to see cards like Teferi, Happy Dad, or Khan, Carefree Jet Setter, as inevitably the plane faces another existential crisis. Not only have the Phyrexians returned, led by the truly terrifying Praetor Shieldred, but their approach has been subtle and insidious, establishing spies and sleeper agents across Dominaria and giving rise to suspicion and fear among the people. And I don't blame them. War is coming, and it's impossible to know who to trust. The many different denizens of Dominaria will need to come together to overcome this threat, and thankfully there are two natives, both eager for redemption, who are set to rise to the challenge of rallying them. They are the powerful time-manipulating planeswalker Teferi and the world-building silver golem Khan. Alongside them, a ton of other characters return, not to mention some true icons such as Joda, Airtai, Liliana Vess, and Jaya Ballard. There's a huge amount for anyone who's engaged with Magic the Gathering in the past to enjoy, but Wizards of the Coast are also setting Dominaria United up as a natural entry point for new players too. Despite all the existing lore, this is the start of a whole new saga, and the key characters have relatable motivations to protect their world and loved ones. Dominaria United should prove to be a memorable introduction to Magic's most famous plane. The key gameplay mechanics of Dominaria United go hand in hand with the storytelling too. Domain, for example, is a returning mechanic from the Invasion block, the last time the Phyrexians had to be fought off tooth and nail. This ability word is all about unifying all 5 colours of Magic, for all the cultures on the continent to come together, in other words. Nishoba Brawler is a good example, with power that scales based on how many different land types you control. The new keyword and list is another example of the call for all Dominarians to do their part to defeat the Phyrexians, allowing a creature to lend its strength to make an attacking ally all the stronger. Guardian of New Benalia looks to showcase what can happen when this effect is combined with powerful abilities like Scry and Indestructible. Sagas were a new enchantment type first introduced in 2018's Dominaria set, and were dense with lore, essentially showcasing famous stories or events from Dominaria's history. Well, they're back, but alongside a new mechanic, Read Ahead, which allows players to start at any point in the saga. In the phasing of Zalfir, for example, you could jump straight to Chapter 3 if that's what you need for the situation, but doing so means you won't trigger the earlier chapter abilities. It's a great way to give players more flexibility. Speaking of which, there's one other returning mechanic to call out, Kicker. Cards with Kicker allow players to pay an additional cost for a bonus ability, giving these cards extra utility as the game progresses. And keeping with the theme of different peoples uniting, some cards have a Kicker cost in another colour. All told, Dominaria United has a lot to offer Magic fans and newcomers alike. And for the latter, the brand new Jumpstart booster packs should be a simple way to start playing immediately. There are 10 different themes to discover, and each booster pack contains 20 cards, including 2 foil basic lands, 1 stained glass treatment land, and 2 rares. Simply crack 2 packs, combine your cards to create a deck, and start to play. The Commander decks are also a good way for newer players to jump straight into one of Magic's most popular formats. Each comes with a ready-to-play deck of 100 cards, led by an iconic commander, such as Jared Carthalion, the star of the MTG comic book series from the mid-90s and a firm proponent of bringing all Magic's colours together. Other purchase options include draft boosters, set boosters, and the new collector boosters, some of which contain literal pieces of Magic history. Booster cards printed in 1994 for the Legends set and recently discovered in a warehouse in Washington State where they've been sitting for that entire time, unopened. Dominaria United releases on Magic the Gathering Arena on September 2nd and will be available for tabletop on September 9th. And for more card slinging action, you're already in the right place. IGN.